The first question that we have is there a topic or are there more than one topics which you think are under the radar but deserve more attention in our field? Could be one, could be more. Any thoughts about, yeah, what's missing? What debates are we not having? And should we perhaps be having?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I don't think I can speak for the entire editor team at PAR, so I'll say myself what I think. Um, First of all, we've been seeing a lot of submissions. So this is reversing the question. We've been seeing a lot of submissions, or at least I've been seeing a lot of submissions focusing on administrative burden and e-governance. This is a trend that I'm clearly seeing the past couple of months, probably because research programs are delivering. So we see a lot of those kind of popping up. In terms of what I think is missing, there are two things that I personally think we have to reflect a bit more on as a field, and this isn't just for PAR. I think this speaks more broadly to public administration. I think the first one has to do with what I and many others call meta science. So scientific reflections on our scientific process. As a field of study, we tend to rely a lot on political science, management science, economics for our methods, for our reflections, and all of those fields, they have developed this meta science perspective where they talk about the science of our science, right? So I think that's something that I would be very keen on seeing. And it so happens that I'm also working on that. So it's shameless self-promotion. A second thing that I would be very keen on seeing is much more work coming from developing or transitioning countries. I think public management, public administration research, by and large, is still very Western oriented, very Western driven. And I think this has really inhibited knowledge accumulation in our fields. And I think we need many more scholars popping up from developing, transitioning countries and other places around the world to demonstrate how public admin concepts work within that setting. So that's something I'm very keen on seeing. And I think that also requires some developmental work from all of us to make sure that that happens.
Well, I will not add to what Bert has already said about specific topics, but perhaps from the viewpoint of BPMG, I have some more general observations or, well, gaps we see currently, well, not filled in. First of all, I think that public administration as a discipline is borrowing a lot from other disciplines without explicitly stating what is actually being borrowed and what's new to public administration. So when you borrow concepts or theories from other disciplines, what do you specify in those theories to have them integrated into public administration and also the frameworks already existing in public administration? So this interdisciplinary work, so crossing the boundaries between disciplines and how to build new frameworks based on this interdisciplinary work is very important. So also the crafting of new theories and conceptual frameworks. Of course, this is at the heart of BPMG, but I think it's very important to be more explicit about it. And another issue which I not yet see in PPMG, and which I would very much welcome, is that we are being bothered a little bit more about multi-level problematization. I now see that there is a bunch of scholars focusing on individual behavior and then very different topics. There are also a lot of scholars focusing on really macro level phenomena, and then some scholars at the meso level of organizations. But there are, of course, connections between those phenomena, and I think we need more theorizing, but also empirical research on multi-level processes. And that's, of course, very general, what I'm saying now. but you can apply this idea to many topics we are currently examining. For example, Bert was already talking about administrative burden, but this is a concept we are writing about very much in Western European countries or in the US, based on sometimes even personal experiences. And I think it's very important to contextualize these experiences, but also the conceptualization of administrative burden. And then contextualizing means looking at different experiences in different sectors, in different countries. And that's not only a methodological issue, but also a conceptual and theoretical issue. Well, having said that, this also implies that there is a lot of work to be done. So we need a next generation of PA scholars.
Maybe I can add to this in a general way. What I at least observe from the manuscripts that are incoming is that a lot, and that's the nature of the journal, Public Administration. So a general journal that attracts a lot of different research topics, which is perfectly fine. What we observe is that a lot of case studies or also broader studies do the empirical job very, very well, but then leave the theoretical implications and reflections and discussion at a very general, shallow level. And I know there is limited scope in the articles, but still I think the quality or the relevance of the articles comes from, first of all, the substantive insight you can offer in a case or in empirical research, but the theoretical implications deriving from that. And that speaks to multiple things that both Bert and Sandra have been saying in terms of geographical difference, comparative research. So how does your finding translate, or what does that imply for another setting? And that also relates to the multi-level aspect you were mentioning, Sandra. So that's what I think should be the next step forward, sort of the attention we pay to the theoretical implications of the empirical research we now do. That's what I miss sometimes, often, and we need to push that. And I would be a little bit hesitant to mention concrete topics, because then I fall prey to my own biases. But what I would like to see from young scholars is the willingness and dare to research what you think is very important and relevant. And if that's something that's really different from what's been published recently, tell us in a note why you think that that is an important contribution to the literature. So dare to go where we haven't been, what was the saying again, where we were not before.
Yeah, and to conclude, taking like the perspective of a journal, Acta Politica, that is like an international political science journal that publishes like on a lot of topics. I'm not going to like suggest topics indeed, because I would be really biased on the matter. However, I think, and it's a bit in line with what has been said like throughout this video, it's being innovative, but also maybe being methodologically innovative too. We do see a lot of traditional methods being used, like in terms of qualitative or quantitative research, but we see also here and there in some journals, in some books as well, some new methods that pop up, and I think that there's a bit of a window of opportunity for early career researchers here to explore these different research methods. I'm thinking as a broad example, democratic innovations or deliberative democracy. There are a lot of different models of deliberative democracy that are being experimented with by researchers around the world. So yes, like being innovative, not being afraid of getting out of the box, really, is something that I would strongly encourage the emerging generation of scholars to do.
And maybe add to this, and this is not about us envisioning what our field needs in the future, in the near future, but perhaps also a call on the community and the reviewers to dare to accept something that is out of the box. And that is really what I think is so important, to be open to something completely different or new, or agenda setting pieces that put a topic on the research agenda, which of course doesn't have the same quality or the same approach as a theory testing, very solid methodological paper, right? So be open to those new approaches, because that will help us all, I think.
Can I react to that? So I agree. I think science is about finding the boundaries of our knowledge. And I remember the quote by John Bryson when he got this Lifetime Achievement Award at PMRC, saying, you know, you should focus on what you find to be important, and if you do it well, the world will come around. So I think that's a good way to look at it. However, I think we can never compromise on some very important standards. And I know this is not what you are saying, but in terms of, you know, an innovative method, great. But if you apply an innovative method, make sure you're very transparent and you explain it to the letter, perhaps using an online appendix if you don't have enough space in the paper itself. Because, and this ties to what Sandra said, we are seeing in public administration sometimes where people want to do new things. And again, I think that's great. But the reporting is not necessarily up to par with what we would expect. So be bold, be innovative, but always make sure you follow that scientific standard. And if you don't have enough space in the text to explain it, use an online appendix to be very transparent on what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. And likely that will also help, hopefully convince a bit more orthodox reviewers to at least have a decent look at the paper.
Yeah, that ties also, maybe just one final remark, because I'm very much intrigued by this. It also ties to trends you sometimes see popping up, and that's doing methods because of the methods. And I think that's fine, but there are a few journals really dedicated to methods, so send your stuff there. But at least from public administration, the methods should follow the theory or the theoretical relevance. So please keep that in mind. And then I fully agree, just, you know, respect the quality standards and be transparent about your methods. Yeah.